me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And it's been that for me working here. You get to give back to the community constantly. And it is a joy. It is a joy to come to work. It's a joy to work in the park system and be in the parks and so forth. So we've just formed so many partnerships, and I get to meet the greatest volunteers ever. They are our backbone, and we just get to meet the greatest volunteers that come out and help us do these programs and offer these facilities. So I'm indebted to them, and that's just one of the perks of getting to work here.
Welcome back to the Leadership Series powered by the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Today we're joined by Donna Holder, a true legend from Henry County, Georgia. With nearly 4 decades of service, Donna has done it all, from youth sports and special events to leading one of the most decorated Parks and Rec departments in the country. She shares how Parks and Rec shaped her life as a kid, what it's like mentoring the next generation, and the secret behind Henry County's award-winning culture, including the famous Breakfast Club and innovative Watering Can Mentorship Program. We also dive into special events, the wins, the landmines, and why drone shows are quickly stealing the spotlight from fireworks. If you want a masterclass in leadership, community building, and why Parks and Rec is more than just a job, this episode is for you. Tune in now and discover why Donna is called the Queen of Parks and Rec in Henry County. All right, this is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Have a special guest from Henry County, Georgia. She is the Queen of Parks and Rec over there. She's been doing this and is I would consider her one of the top veterans in the industry. So I'm really happy to have her, especially since Henry County is working with us to create the Rec Room podcast. For those of you who don't know, Henry County is one of the most highly decorated Parks and Rec departments in America. And they had an idea to start a podcast. And then I had an idea that, why don't we start a whole media company? And somehow we met, and we're match made in heaven. And so we just recorded our 3rd episode yesterday. It's the second Wednesday of every month, the Rec Room with the whole team. And Donna has been a part of this team. I think she is the veteran. Has anyone been at Parks and Rec longer than you over at Henry County?
No, not in Parks and Rec.
Yep. She's the record holder, current champion and record holder for committing her life to the chaos of Parks and Rec longest. So thank you so much for your service and what you do for your community. And thank you for being open to sharing your wisdom with the country, because I know you have a lot of, where all the landmines are in Parks and Rec. And so hopefully you can help future leaders not step on those. They'll step on new ones that you haven't seen yet. So.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So as usual, I'm going to, until Chris releases our next thank you video, I want to keep playing this 200th episode, because for me, it just really sums up what Parks and Rec means to the Daily Parks and Rec Show and the community. And we just want to thank everybody like Donna who has come and help us share this wisdom that is inside of Donna's life and head. And we need to get as much as we can out of her before she decides to retire, even though her team has refused to let her go anywhere. So, all right, we'll go ahead and play this and we'll be right back. From a simple mic in a rec center to a full-scale media company for the people who power our parks. 200 real stories, 5 original shows, and more to come, with one powerful mission: to lift up the voices of Parks and Rec professionals across the country. From maintenance crews and young interns and youths who love sports, to directors and public servants making a difference. We've built a platform that honors the unsung heroes behind every clean trail, every weekend tournament, every safe, welcoming park. This milestone isn't just about the content, it's about the people, the passion, the purpose. To every guest, listener, and supporter, thank you. The next chapter starts today. This is DPRS Media Co. media for public service. All right, so thank you to everyone that's helped create this and come on the show and share their wisdom. Our next promotion is, for those of you who don't know, Parks and Rec is kind of a combination of three groups, aside from the community, three groups that I've identified as that make it possible for Parks and Rec to do what they do. You've got your full-time staff, which Donna's a part of and a leader in. You've got a massive part-time staff that shows up on weekends and concession stands and volunteers and coaches. But there's a third group, the vendors of Parks and Rec, that, not only do they provide the services and products that Donna's team uses to do what they do, but then they're being hit up for sponsorships, for special events, for all types of things. And without them, I think Parks and Rec would really struggle to bring the services that they bring. And now we are looking for strategic partners that have been veterans of this industry that want to help us create a media company for Parks and Recreation. And we're in conversation with some great ones. We have some great vendors already. And many of them come from Henry County that love what Henry County is doing and love what they're building in the rec room and want to support us. So we're now accepting in phase 3 of the Daily Parks and Rec show. We're looking for 48 strategic partners to help create individual shows on accounting, youth sports, aquatics, smart cities, software, there's finance. There's so many great shows that we could make and start building these digital libraries to share the wisdom embedded inside of each of those little nuanced pieces of Parks and Rec. So we made a little promo for this. We'll be coming out with version 2 here shortly. But this is what we got right now, and then we'll come back and talk with Donna.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
All right. So Donna, while we're on that subject, maybe you can speak a little just on how do y'all work with vendors to help provide not just the products and services, but then how do they come back and help support your local baseball leagues that y'all have going on or your special events? Can you speak a little bit how y'all kind of worked in partnership with them?
Yes. So we have some that do monetary sponsorships, and that's always wonderful to help us offset costs and provide services for those who can't afford it. We also have them come in and sometimes bring in-kind products. Maybe they want to do some giveaways and that sort of thing, and help us in that particular way. And then sometimes they come out and volunteer. That's another way that they give back, and those are always good resources for us as well.
Yeah. And I was in that list of vendors for a decade, and then I retired, left Parks and Rec, and just hung out as friends I would attend. And here I am again, making something for Parks and Recreation. It's been a blast. All right. So let's go back to Donna as a child, high school age. Where did you grow up in Parks and Recreation, or did you find this later in life?
I did. I was a Parks and Rec kid. Henry County at the time was very rural, back in that time frame. And I think I played youth softball, youth basketball, and we also had some field trips, kind of a day camp type field trip. But they would come around to the various communities in the county, pick kids up and take them on a field trip, or to Atlanta and different places, different state parks, that sort of thing.
Now, as a young person, how did Parks and Rec play a role in your life? Helping you to meet people or forming you as a child or a teenager?
I think anytime that you can play sports, just being a team player teaches you so much about not only being a team player in the sports, but being a team player in your work family, in your work environment to be a team player, because there's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of letting somebody else, take the glory and you be the backup. There's a lot of that back and forth. And I think team sports is a great way for people to experience that.
Mm-hmm. And what I love about the culture of Parks and Recreation is, like yourself, there's many professionals that, they were the recipients of people like yourself doing hard work of running these facilities, running these programs. And now you're one of those people that are giving back and building a legacy for all the kids in your county. How has that served you, now that you're an adult doing what other people did for you?
They claim that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And it's been that for me working here. And we get to give back to the community constantly. And it is a joy. It is a joy to come to work. It's a joy to work in the park system and be in the parks and so forth. So we've just formed so many partnerships, and I get to meet the greatest volunteers ever.
Yeah.
They are our backbone, and we just get to meet the greatest volunteers that come out and help us do these programs and offer these facilities. So I'm indebted to them, and that's just one of the perks of getting to work here.
Now, did you know early on that you were considering working in Parks and Rec at a young age, or how did you what were your first steps out of high school, college, coming into this?
Well, I was in a vocational training course for my high school year so that I could get out and work early. And for 2 years, actually, my junior and senior year. So for my senior year, I wanted to change it up and do a different task than what I had done the previous year. So when I went in to do that, they're like, well, there's an opening at the Parks and Rec department. And I knew the director at the time. He had officiated my softball games and my basketball games. And his assistant director was from the community that I was in the Ola area. And so I knew both of them really well through my school, through my community. And I was like, there'd be two great people to work with. And I love, growing up in the park system. So that was awesome when I landed that job.
So was it your first job ever in Parks and Rec?
No, it was not my first job. It was like a second or third job that I had other than my babysitting and taking care of kids. I'd always done that my entire life. So
yeah. And so baby, were you like the oldest, or where do you fall? You have siblings or something?
Oh, I'm the oldest.
I knew it. I wasn't gonna say it. You had that oldest child vibes. So what were some of the first jobs that you had? What part of Parks and Rec did you come into?
Well, at the time, they were a very small operation and in a little tiny community center that had a senior center attached to it. So when I would come in midday after high school, they would have the senior center would be cooking greens or something every day, and I would just be nauseated for the first 45 minutes I was at work because it just, went through the entire facility because it wasn't a very big place. And I guess about 6 months after I started working here, they expanded and went into put a new rec center at a park. And so I wasn't there very long. And from then on, it's just been expanding ever since. So.
Wow. That's and then what was your first opportunity to lead? Did they, because I know Parks and Rec is notorious for new people coming in, they're in their 20s, and next thing you know, here's an elderly community or a senior center. Here's kind of the ropes, and then they just walk away. And good luck. Here you go.
Well, when a couple of years after I'd been here,
Mhm.
they it just started growing by leaps and bounds here in Henry County. And at the time, they put various apartments with us from time to time over the years. And at that particular time frame, they had senior services, I think maybe transit, senior services, and Parks and Rec, and it had gotten so big that they decided to kind of split it off. And it was like the director's going to go one way, the assistant director's going the other way, and the two admin assistants we kind of had to pick. It was almost like a little divorce almost. We had to, decide where we were going and who we were going to work with. And, but it all worked out great, and we all still work together. But it was kind of sad to have to split off for a minute, but that's kind of how we did. And our assistant director that had handled a lot of things, she was like, "You want to learn this? You need to learn it quick." So she just started throwing things at me, and I just pick it up and run with it ever since. So.
And was now that in accounting, or were you in programming, or what were some of the early roles that you had?
Well, you kind of had to do a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
Coming back from that time frame, it took a long time before we had somebody just to concentrate on programs and someone just to concentrate on accounting. So that took a long time.
So you had several hats in those early days.
Yes, and if somebody had to, if somebody left or, quit or moved on, you had to fill those shoes because, life goes on, and we don't usually stop programs just because somebody's left.
Right. And so you were still in your 20s when you were kind of doing these roles?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so I love that story. And it's so common in parks and recreation that, you get to lead, you get to form yourself as a leader, you get to, bring on all types of skills. And we're not talking about 30, 40, 50-year-olds. We're talking like 20-year-olds have a great opportunity to leave. That's why I love this industry. And I encourage all the people that are young professionals. I don't know of another industry that gives you an opportunity to lead and add these skill sets at such a young age. Anything to say on that as far as, what kind of person it made of you in the process?
You learn to pivot. That's what we call ourselves, the pivot people. And you learn to pivot because things are constantly changing around here. One of the things I love most about the job is that, no day's the same. No days, days are rarely the same here. There's always something coming up, something you didn't expect. So I always say, I grew up to expect the unexpected, and it has served me well here at Parks and Rec. But so you're just, I tell people all the time, I said, you're never really bored here.
That's right.
It's quite rare. We're always coming in off of something. We're preparing for the next thing that we've got coming up, or problems come and find us, whether it's weather related, it's assisting with elections, it's just, things coming your way all the time. Special events, someone needs help, another department needs help, something's broken and you have to move people around. And so there's just something constant all the time.
And now, how old were you when you got into like some serious leadership roles, kind of like you are now, or assistant director or something like that?
Well, I can't remember how old I was. I think I was in my maybe my 40s, when maybe 30s, late 30s. We had a lot of people that left at the same time, and it was just, and the county was growing so quickly, but we had a lot of people leave at the same time. And I wound up being an interim director from an administrative assistant, to an interim director for, I guess, maybe 6 months, right at 6 months or so.
Yeah. And so what was that like when you were kind of thrown into that leadership position, especially interim director? You're pretty much running the ship. And how long did you hold those positions until they found another director?
Probably, maybe around 6 months or less for that. But, you fill in, or I did, for our director a lot of times whenever he would be gone, before we had assistant directors to come in and out, because over the years, sometimes you would have them, sometimes you didn't. And so I would kind of step in and we had that relationship. I could kind of step in and out when I needed to.
Mhm.
If my director was out of town or had a surgery or something, I would step up. So it wasn't something I was uncomfortable with. So
Mm.
I was used to stepping in for him. So it was just for an expanded amount of time, though.
Right. Yeah. And so how many directors have you served up under at Henry County?
I've served under 4.
Mm. And so JP, your current executive director, has been there for just a couple of years, right?
Yes, well, he's been here since 2020. He came in
Okay.
and got hit with COVID, and
Oh, wow. What a
he's been on his toes ever since. So he's seen everything thrown his way. All kinds of scenarios that you wouldn't normally expect. So he's been great.
mm. And so today, what is your kind of job description? What do you handle? Because I think you and JP kind of split up the department, and you run your part and he run his, and y'all kind of check on each other. What does that
JP,
day-to-day look like for you?
JP he's an executive director, so he's involved with the executive level of leadership here. So you have county manager, the deputy county manager, the chief of staff, and then you have a level of executive directors across the county that have multiple departments underneath them. And I'm the deputy director of Parks and Rec, so I'm kind of in the day-to-day operations here at Parks and Rec with 4 deputy administrators underneath me that help us really keep the place running.
Mm. Now, what are the areas of Parks and Recreation over the years that you've become, super? I know you have to learn everything and where you're sitting, but are there any areas that you've become super passionate about that kind of pulls on your heart that you really enjoy doing over there in your department?
Well, under my domain, it's JP and I kind of split up some things, but back and forth. But mine is admin, special event, but I also look into or have been involved heavily in the programming, especially the special needs and therapeutic recreation programming.
Mm.
So that's kind of one of the first programs I guess I was involved with when I first started working here was not volunteering, but working with the volunteers on the Special Olympics board. And so I've been doing that ever since I started working here. So that's been since 1987, I think. So it's been a long time, and that's where one of my true passions are.
Now, as far as special events, I was talking with, was it Michelle Dunn, correct? That's who's on your team. And she was telling me how you had run special events for so long and so well that it was intimidating to fill your shoes, was her words.
No, she is she's amazing at events. She really is. It is one of her callings. She's great at admin too, but she just gets roped back over. She's so creative and she's so fun that she tries to back away a little bit from events sometimes, and we'll pull her right back in. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's special. And are you still involved pretty much with special events?
yes, I try to attend as many as I can and support the team, support staff, and be there as present as often as I can. But we have so many that it'd be impossible to attend every single one for the entire year, but we try.
Yeah. So as I would consider you a special events veteran specialist, I know it's chaotic, but let's just say you have somebody that's just been given the role of special events. What is the kind of framework 101 that you could give them to kind of get started in that arena?
Well, I just came back from assisting our senior services department because they're planning a big outdoor event that it's not typically what they do. So they had a committee, which is a great place to start, that you can kind of spread the love, so to speak. And I just try to gauge, where they're at. We have a couple of event checklists that we do that we use, and it's not really anything that we've done ourselves. Some of it's just a collection of different checklists and so forth that we've come up with over the years from using other people's. So, and that's always okay in Parks and Rec to borrow ideas from other departments, and that's what we've done. So we have a big checklist to kind of go back and forth on from time to time, and then a nice drawing of the event space that you're going to be using, so everybody's in agreement on where things are going and how the flow is going to take place. and looking at all the emergency stuff. So it's a good thing to have your emergency services people checking in and on the event with you in the planning process and at the event if you can.
Yeah, we're going to have to get that special event. If it's not like copyrighted, we may have to get that special events checklist from y'all and share that with the world as a general framework. Here's how it's done in Henry County. Make it your own. What are some of the things that, some of the, I guess, landmines or pitfalls of special events that a rookie might make on year one?
Oh, let's see. I would say utilities, like you're having an Easter egg hunt and maybe you did not turn off the automatic sprinkler system.
Sounds like I've done that once.
Not that that's happened to us, but
You've heard about it. I have a friend of mine that happened. Utilities, anything else? What are some of the things you kind of learned along the way? Like do this, don't do that.
oh goodness, we've had a lot. That's probably how the part of the event checklist comes around. But sometimes traffic patterns, safety, having the safety items, having a tent, but did you put the tent weights down to keep the tents from blowing away or blowing up into a backstop during a big wind? Those kinds of things. So there are just so many. There's so many, and some of it's trial and error as you go. Some of it's determined by the places that you go to hold an event, because no two spaces are the same. So it just depends on where you're going and what you have to work with sometimes.
Yeah. And so what are the stakeholders of a special event? I know you've got, and I'll try to rattle off a few that just from interviewing so many people, but you've got your, I guess, utilities. I know Brian is a big chunk of it. That's your facilities maintenance crews and your vendors. And then who are the different buckets of people that have to be involved in a special event?
So you have to know what your end game is supposed to be. Of course, we answer to our Board of Commissioners, depending on whether or not the cities are involved, the citizens that we're trying to reach out to target, what our sponsors are hoping to see, just depending on what the event itself is, if it's for kids, if it's for families, if it's for adults, and just trying to see, where it needs to land at.
Okay. And then what's your favorite special event and why?
Oh, goodness. That's a tough one. Well, I love fireworks, but I'm quickly becoming a fan of the drone shows, because that is so amazing to me. It's been so much fun to plan drone shows and personalize them, and then they light up the sky with your logo. And those have we had one at Christmas, and then we had one during our 4th of July, right after the right before the fireworks. And it's just incredible to see the different things and hear the crowd. Just hear the crowd's commotion about the drones. Like at Christmas, it would kind of build something out in the sky, and just hearing all the kids and the adults go back and forth about what they thought it was going to be, kind of like, what is the drawing going to be? And just hearing them gas and engage, that was pretty neat.
Yeah. And so the drone shows, that's kind of a newer thing. So do y'all have, I'm assuming y'all have a vendor that y'all hire for this kind of stuff. And when do y'all do that? Is it just like at your 4th of July or when do y'all kind of put on the drone shows?
So far it's been, we've done one at Christmas and the 4th of July show. So far, those are the only two that we've been able to do it with so far.
Yeah. And so is that just y'all have a local vendor that y'all use, or who do y'all recommend for that?
Actually, we had the idea from going to some of the trade shows that we attend. We try to attend at least 2 trade shows a year. One is the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association, GRPA. They do an annual conference, and usually Monday, Tuesday, I think Tuesday they have their vendors. They have a vendor hall, and we go and see what all is new, what all is available. And the same for our National Recreation and Parks Association, NRPA. They have a larger trade show. So we attend both if we can. We try to attend both, and we come back with ideas and see what we can implement.
Yeah. And so maybe we can talk on that topic a little about how important it's been for y'all to attend these shows. And y'all are regular speakers at both. Um, Maybe let's start. What are the topic? Well, how valuable has that been for y'all in the past, and among ideas and networking? And then we can talk about what are some of the topics y'all spoken on.
So one of them has been our mentoring program that we're so proud of, our Watering Can Mentoring Program. And the thing that's really neat about it is that it's our park system. One of our admin assistants, when we're doing what we call the think tank, throwing out ideas, just trying to figure out what could stick, what's thinking out of the box, trying to get ideas, and you engage your whole staff, not just your leadership. You engage the whole staff to see what kind of ideas, what somebody may have seen, where they visited, where their family's from.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to gauge different people and different ideas. And one of the ladies up front, she had an idea about doing a mentoring program. And so it just evolved into the watering can, and our park maintenance facilitates it. They do the programming, they implement everything, they set the dates, they have input on the flyer, and then they do the graduation ceremony. So they do it from start to finish. And it is just amazing to see the young people come in and get to learn. They take them inside of a shop. Teach them how to use some of the tools in the shop. They take them outside to see how our community gardens function and how to grow things in the community garden. Teach them how to change tire, and let them experience that. They've taught them how to build a backstop, and it is just something to see. And then to see them interact when you come in for graduation and the relationships that they formed. And this past graduation, right before their graduation, I was able to meet a gentleman, and he came out to volunteer for our end of summer event that we had. And he was like, I want to volunteer. I want to come be a part of it. And the whole day, the guys would try to say, you don't have to work if you don't want to. You can actually go and play, and you can go experience, walk around and do the things. He's like, oh, no. I'm staying with the guys. I'm staying with the group, and working. So, So they do get volunteers also through that mentoring program, and that was very special to see.
Yeah, that really is. And after everyone I've interviewed in this entire show, I would say y'all are easily in the top 5 working with young professionals, high schoolers, introducing people to parks and recreation. I would put y'all top 5 in America for that. So I'm really excited about highlighting all the work y'all do in there, so that other Parks and Rec departments could kind of do the same. Maybe you could kind of give some advice to if someone wants to start a watering can, or someone wants to start working with interns, college interns that need, to do an internship so that they can graduate. What are some kind of first steps that you would recommend for them?
You can always contact a department like ours that's already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like for them to fill out an application, and that would be a good place to have. So you know the questions to ask them, or to kind of start to do your, to form your own, because that's, the first part of the process is to try to get them to fill out an application and find out what their needs are. Usually they have something that they have to turn in from their teacher, their professors, that they need you to sign off on, and you need to know what's expected out of that, any deadlines that they may have. And if it's through a grant, you just have to know what your grant deadlines are also for what you've got to turn in.
Yeah. And I know that the kind of perception is, at least the feedback I've been getting is, I want to start an internship program, but I just don't have time to just train people and babysit people. Is there anything you can do to kind of push back on, well, no, these kids are actually very useful for us. They do a lot of good work. And then we end up hiring a ton of these people. Our current staff is from those programs. Anything you can say in regards to, pushing back a little bit on it's a hassle? And I know it's a hassle, but what are the benefits of having a strong program like y'all have?
benefits are sometimes they come back, and they may come back and work for you or people in your industry. So the more people that you can expose to our industry, the better off we all are. And everybody's got to start somewhere. I'm glad they took a chance on me and let me come in and, kind of train an administrative type role. But then I also helped out with programs. I helped out with anything that had to be done, and I substituted in for anything that had to be done. And we do that a lot with our interns. If we've got an intern here and, there's a spot that, we need somebody to go fill in for. And occasionally one of our other departments in the county may call us and say, because sometimes we're kind of like, the short-term workers that they need out of our staff that we have on staff that work a lot of various part-time hours. Sometimes they'll reach out to us and say, is there anybody that you can send to us because we're in the situation? And we need extra help. Is there are people that could work our hours that you have already on payroll, on staff? So sometimes we're able to send people or match people up. And we'll be like, well, okay, well, this person is interning with us, but they need, some administrative experience. Maybe we could send them over there to fill in with you for a little while. Sometimes that's elections, sometimes it's transit, sometimes it's HR. So it's just, different places that we can kind of match people up sometimes based off of their skill sets, what they're looking to get some experience in, and what they're trying to accomplish with their degree and their internship.
Yeah. Okay. So we just blew past the halfway point. I wanted to, so what I'll do is I'll play a little promo for our Young Professionals Network show that we do every Friday at 12 noon, which y'all have been guests on several times, and Thomas is helping us to fill that time slot for us. But when we get back, I'd like you to answer the question. If you were standing in front of a group of undecided college kids or high school kids, not knowing really what they wanted to do with their life, what would be your sales pitch testimony to this industry to say, hey, you may want to consider dedicating your life to this? We'll play this and then we'll come right back and get your answer.
Okay.
Are you ready to lead the next generation of Parks and Rec? Whether you're a student, intern, or rising leader, welcome to the Young Professionals Network by DPRS Media Co. Our mission? To empower early career professionals in parks and recreation through mentorship, visibility, and real-world leadership development. Our vision? A national network of passionate, prepared, and purpose-driven leaders who shape the future of public service. Starting now. Powered by the Daily Parks and Rec Show, YPN gives you access to exclusive interviews, career-building resources, behind-the-scenes content, and live events, all created by and for the next wave of Parks and Rec professionals. Learn from seasoned directors, build your brand, get involved with national conversations that matter. Whether you're in youth sports, facilities, programming, or policy, YPN is your launchpad. Young Professionals Network, your career, your community, your story.
All right. So for most of us, I think when we're in our teenage years trying to figure out what we're going to do with our life, most of us are lost, have no clue where we're going. And so what's the testimony you would give to as kind of, what this has meant to you and why they would want to dedicate their life to Parks and Recreation?
Well, I had always wanted to help people. That's what I wanted to do. And when I got into this role, I saw very quickly how I could help people. They really sold me. I went to a Special Olympics day that they had, and they had several community partners, but they had it at my high school. And so I was working here, but I got to see them do an event because I was in school at the time. And I got to see how they function and how they provided an event for special needs families and participants. And it really sold me here. I was like, so that they really are making an impact. They are helping people. And that's really something else that, just another feather in their hat that I can get behind. I'd already played sports with them and done field trips, but I got to see that aspect. And I was like, I'm sold. I believe in them. It is a calling. Our crazy hours I would say is a calling here. So if you're up for a challenge, they'll challenge you over and over and over again. So nothing, like I said, very rarely is a day the same around here. So if you like variety, and I think variety is the spice of life, you would love working in Parks and Rec. They constantly challenge you to come up with things that are affordable for families, that you can come up with to either partner with someone or just put a fun spin on something that's not terribly expensive, or to make, to find ways to make that happen, to provide things. The park system is, I could speak all day too about the park system. There are many opportunities to work in the park system as well. We have a lot of maintenance, and our maintenance also helps out with our special events and other things around the county. We don't just help in our Parks and Rec department. We also support other departments. So we're constantly involved with other departments, and you're constantly meeting people all around the county and all around the state, actually. So we have administrative opportunities. We have programming opportunities. We have wheelchair sports. We have therapeutic recreation, special needs programs that we do all throughout the year. We offer over 20 different sports all throughout the year, and there's constant competitions that they're getting ready for. We have recreation centers. We have 4 recreation centers, and as well as our building here at Heritage Park, and they have gymnasiums. Some of them have parks outside of their facilities, and those recreation centers are open 6 days a week, and sometimes they're rented out on Sundays. So parks don't close usually. So there's something going on here from sun up to sundown, and almost 7 days a week usually.
Yeah. Now, were there some early skills that you felt like you were lacking in, soft skills? When we come into the workforce, we find that the job demands stuff that we might be, whether it's public speaking or leading people that are much older than us. What were some of the early things that you had to shore up as a young person coming into this industry?
There's always challenges like that. You just have to, find out, the best way to navigate around them. And sometimes leading people that you're old, that, are leading people that are older than you are. Sometimes leading people that are younger than you are. They all have their different sets of challenges to kind of work through. But public speaking was probably the one that I needed to work on the most. And the county decided as a whole that they had many people like that a couple of years ago, and they decided to start up a Toastmasters program with our county government employees as a training, one of the training tools that they use. They have many, but that is one of the training tools, and Parks and Rec kind of helps lead the charge with that, along with the committee. So that is one of the things that we have been doing to try to help people like myself that are not, they do public speaking, but maybe it's just not their forte.
Right. I'm so glad y'all use Toastmasters. I'm shocked at how many people don't use it. It's free. I think you buy like $100 book and that's all you need. Maybe explain to people what is Toastmasters and how that has helped y'all.
Well, Toastmasters is a training program to help people learn to speak, but it's not just speaking in public, speaking to a group, speaking to your employees. It's also speaking at public meetings sometimes, but it also comes in handy and to learn to speak for your own personal stuff too. Like I've had to do a eulogy and also, a toast at my daughter's wedding. So talked my husband into it. So I was like, what if I write it and you just read it? I tried talking him into it, but he was like, no, I don't think so.
Yep, this is all.
But it does come in handy for those things. And there's so much training, and you don't even have to crack a book if you don't want to. Everything is online. You can watch people you just type in something that you're looking at, and all of a sudden, you've got all these different scenarios and different speeches that you can watch and learn from.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I want to play a quick promo for our next show coming up. It's a Thursday show, every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. It's the Youth Sports Mastery Show by my co-host, Aaron Locks, with the National Academy of Athletics. And then we can speak a little bit about, youth sports in Henry County, Georgia, when we get back.
At DPRS Media Co., we don't just create content, we elevate community through storytelling. Now, we're proud to introduce the newest addition to the family. Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery, the podcast where champions are shaped, not just on the field, but in life. Hosted by National Academy of Athletics founder Aaron Locks. Youth Sports Mastery dives deep into how youth sports can empower kids, strengthen communities, and build leaders. From coaching culture to recreation strategy, and from player development to parent impact, every episode brings game-ready insight from the people making it happen. Youth Sports Mastery goes live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics and powered by DPRS Media Co. This is where purpose meets play.
All right, so this is kind of KP's department. What is KP's title? Is it athletic director, or what title does he have for what he does?
Deputy Administrator of Athletics.
Of athletics. And so what is youth sports or athletics in Henry County, Georgia?
So our youth athletics program is it's always evolving, but we have soccer, basketball, baseball, softball, lacrosse. I'm sure I'm going to leave somebody off. Then we have some specialty associations that we work with the BMX track, what we call the RC remote control flyers, where they have a small airport, and we have, I know I'm forgetting one. We also have football. We have tackle sports, and then we have the
esports.
We also have flag football.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a show yesterday with y'all on esports. That's something that I think y'all are pioneering really for the whole country.
Yes, we're really excited about that. We have the game room at our new North Mount Carmel Recreation Center, and it is something to see. And we're really excited to try to help people that they can get over there, start up teams, and hopefully be competitive for scholarships. That is our end goal for that. So.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of shift gears and go into what is kind of the secret sauce behind Henry County, Georgia, as being such a highly decorated Parks and Rec department. What would you say are some of the strengths that kind of got y'all here?
I would say our strengths that have gotten us here have been some amazing parks and recreation directors. I've worked for some of the best, and they are great in getting support from our leadership, our county government, our Board of Commissioners. To have the Board of Commissioners support those directors has been that's just huge for our department to have their support. I would say one of the other things is that we've been really fortunate to have started a SPLOST program here, a special purpose local option sales tax. And some of the years that we've worked here, funding was very lean, and the county was growing so fast they could not apply enough funds for capital improvements to update some of the parks that they had, and then to buy parks, to buy park land. So that opened up a huge opportunity for parks and recreation here in Henry County. And it's benefited, I think, many of the cities here as well. And it continues. It's ran very well, and it has benefited the park system just tremendously. I would say one of the other things is transportation for us. We have a great partnership with our Henry County Board of Education office. Our Board of Education here supports us in so many ways. They let us utilize their gymnasiums along with our Parks and Rec gymnasiums because we don't have enough.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few gymnasiums, and it is not enough for a county this size to offer an indoor youth basketball program in the winter months, but when it's really needed. And without them, we would not be able to offer that.
Yeah.
And they offer many other things in the partnership, and we offer them, but that, and I would say their transportation, they provide transportation for our special needs programming to let them go and attend sports trainings and competitions throughout the state. And they are tremendous with that. They also have transportation for our huge, our day camp program in the summertime. We have a teen camp and we have day camps, and the Board of Ed has us rolling in buses all summer long.
Mm-hmm. Now, Brian asked me this question yesterday. I'd love to get your answer to it, but he was like, Craig, what do you think is the number one trait or skill that, or even lack that you need to succeed as a team? My answer was humility. Like, you have to be humble, to be open to what you don't know and new things and new ways to do things. But what would be your answer to that?
Mine is something similar. I always tell people grace. You have to show grace. You have to show yourself grace. Mm-hmm. There are times where we fall short, and we're just so strung out sometimes that you got to show yourself a little grace around here too. Mm-hmm. That's very important, or you will get burnout. Yeah. So we show grace to ourselves. We try to show grace to each other, especially if we see somebody that's maybe hitting a little burnout. We're like, okay, when are we going to do our next vacation? Mm-hmm. When are we going to take some time off? That kind of thing. And sometimes it's the community, sometimes it's parents, sometimes it's elected officials that we have to show a little grace with. So yeah. And now I know you may see some teams out there that's kind of like got one guy in charge. He's running everything. It's kind of like a one-man show, trying to do it all with a bunch of helpers. But over there, you really get a sense that this is a team effort, all rowing in unison in the same direction. Where did that come from? How did y'all get that culture inside of your department? Well, I think it's, I hope some of it's lead by example, because I think everybody here works pretty hard, and we don't do a lot of complaining about it. But we do try to have fun. We try to have as much fun as we can while we're working hard. So maybe that sets us apart, I hope. But we all work hard, and I hope that filters down, and it seems to. I think it's very rare that I see somebody that I'm like they're not working hard, or they need to step up. But that's few and far between.
Mm. All right, so tell us about this infamous breakfast club that y'all have. I think it's such a great part of y'all's community and culture, and what y'all do and how y'all's lead. What is that? When is it? What kind of ideas are y'all getting out of? How does that kind of shape y'all's culture?
Well, for me, that's having my second cup of coffee of the day, which is it just makes it a nice place for, when mama's happy, everybody's happy. Yeah. So I try to join. I try to do that as much as I can. And but it's good to connect with the employees, and it's good to find out where our troubles are, because throughout the day when we're kind of coming and going and we start working, it's really hard to figure out somebody's. We kind of fess up in the mornings, like, this is what I dealt with today. This is the way my day's going. This is what I got to look forward to today, or the week, or the month. And it's just a good way to connect and see where people are, see the circumstances that they're facing, what kind of grace they may need. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we find out that, they've got a death in the family, or somebody's sick, or they don't have transportation right now, and we just kind of have to show a little grace and work with those people a little bit more. So it's just a good way to engage and see where everybody is.
Yeah. And what's the logistics of that? Is that like an 8 a.m. Monday through Friday in a break room? Do y'all kind of have just coffee and donuts or something? Kind of lay that out a little bit.
We have a big workroom in the center of our building here at Heritage. It's a workroom. It's two workstations surrounded by filing cabinets. But it's a large. It's got a large center to the room, and everybody just kind of circles around the filing cabinets that are in there. And sometimes you bring your own. Sometimes we bring in something to share with the group. But whether they're eating their oatmeal or grabbing a smoothie or a cup of coffee, and we just kind of, or not, they just, come by to catch up for a minute. It's also our mail room. So sometimes the other rec centers are dropping in, they're bringing a payment, they're picking up packages, they're checking their mail and finding out what they need, and they'll come in and check in with us. So we get to check in a little bit with our other rec centers that we don't always get to see every day. Or a lot of the time throughout the day. So it's a great way to connect with them too, when we can. And it's not every day. Sometimes it's like, looks like we've all been run off, but a lot of people may be off that day or coming back from holidays and that kind of stuff. So, or if we got events and a lot of people have to take off because they've got to work on the weekend, and we're trying to juggle hours around a little bit. So, but when we do, it's just a great way to connect, and we laugh and we cut up. But if we're going over, it's a great time also to bring a checklist and go over things where you got to hit everybody real quick with, hey, we got like 20 things we need to cover today. So we're going to kind of have fun, but we're going to also tackle projects and assignments and needs that we've got coming up, and also check on people. You're like, I walked by so-and-so the other day and I got a vibe off of them, and who knows about this person? Is this person okay? So, it's just a good way to check in.
Yeah. What are the signs of burnout that you look for? Because Parks and Rec can be very demanding when everybody else is playing, you're working nights, weekends, holidays. What are the kind of signs you look for so that you can see a team member struggling?
Sometimes it's just when they kind of get a little out of character sometimes, or a vibe, I guess, is what I'll pick up on sometimes. But if somebody acts, very down, that's one thing. If they're used to smiling and they're not, that's another sign. Maybe they're not coming around.
Yeah.
They're not coming to Breakfast Club. They're not coming around, and I'm like, something's going on. Or maybe they've missed some work, and they're just getting back and like, what's been going on with you? Are you okay? You in a good place? That kind of thing. Or do you need anything? That kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Now y'all also eat kind of lunch together every day, don't y'all?
Sometimes I'm bad about eating on the go, grazing as I go. But yeah, sometimes they'll gather in the conference room, and everybody, or sometimes they'll do a group pickup. So everybody transfers cash apps everybody, and they'll have a big order to go pick up, and then somebody will go pick up and then come back, and then they're able to eat together when they can pull that off. So.
Yeah, I know that's really important that y'all spend time together, eating together. I think that's why it really has this one big family feel. Every time I've been spent time with y'all, just digitally as a group, and I'm going to try to come to the. By the way, we are going to the Georgia Parks and Rec Association. We'll be airing the Daily Parks and Rec Show live, interviewing as many people as we can. But I want to try to go a day or two early to try to sit in on one of these Breakfast Club meetings and just see it firsthand.
Well, you're in for a treat. And but yeah, I just heard you, I guess, off of yesterday's podcast with our e-game sports people that you were coming down to Jekyll. So that'll be great.
Yeah, I'll be there. And okay, so one of the last things we'll be covering is tell us about this counseling couch that you have.
Oh, yes. Well, we didn't used to have couches, but sometimes when you do concerts, you get the concert list of what they have to have. And I guess for one group, we had to have couches. We had to have some couches for their particular band or group or whatever. And we're like, okay, I guess we'll use it as part of our decor when we're done with it,
Yeah.
So we wound up putting one in Michelle's office, and people always gravitate toward her anyways for a little counseling. she's just good for the soul, and so it was just a good place to put it in her office. So it served its purpose well. But it's just funny. She's always been a good counselor, good mentor, good friend. But every now and then you'll go in there and somebody's just laid out on the couch like they're getting the full service.
Right. Yeah, I can see her with her little pad asking how her day went. What was her childhood like? Feeling depressed. Yeah, that's fantastic. And then who gets called into the now you're kind of like the principal's office, aren't you? You know, when they sometimes when they get a call from you, they're like, oh,
They don't call me. I'll go into back cleanup from time to time, but
yeah, that's it. Who gets called in the most over there?
that would have to be Thomas. Thomas
knew
is
it.
he's a busy man. He's a busy man.
Yeah. All right. So final question to wrap up the show. This question comes from Ronald Anderson over at Westchester County, New York. They run a great program over there. His question to you is, what is a win or a great accomplishment that you're the most proud of throughout your whole career?
Oh my goodness. I would say one of my biggest ones over the years was trying to get transportation for our special needs programming. At the time, we relied on parents to bring the children and the participants to different places, and we didn't really have the schools set up at the time to help us at that particular moment. And it was getting the elected officials to agree to purchase a van for us to be able to transport them back and forth to give them more opportunities. And that was something that we were very proud of. It was very hard to do without it. And doors have just opened for us ever since. So,
yeah, fantastic. Well, Donna, thank you so much for coming on the show today and giving us your time and sharing your wisdom with us. I really appreciated everything that you're doing and being open to just sharing with the whole world about, giving us a peek into how you run Parks and Recreation and sharing that culture that's so powerful over there in Henry County. By the way, what awards have y'all won? I meant to cover that. What are some of the accolades that y'all have had?
we've had some of the highest awards GRPA offers, which is the Mike Daniel Award, and then we've gotten Agency of the Year a couple of times. And our chair of our Board of Commissioners, Chair Harrell, she gave us an award this year at her. It's kind of like a state of the union, it's a state of the county. And we're very proud to win that award from her. And those are just a few of the awards that we have won that we're really proud of.
Yeah, well, fantastic job over there, and keep up the great work. And thank you for setting such a great example for the nation of how to run an outstanding Parks and Rec department.
Well, thank you for letting us share our passion.
Yeah. Have a great week, and I will see y'all in Jekyll Island and hopefully a few days before and come participate in that breakfast club.
We look forward to it.
Take care, Donna. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So that was one of our one of the best veterans, I think, in the industry that has been there for 38 years with Henry County, Georgia, and has filled just about every role, interim director. And I know her team refuses to let her retire or go anywhere. Not that she would ever want to. You can tell she really loves what she does, and it just brings so much energy into her life. And I think this is just another great reason and example, a reason for young kids to choose this as an industry that they would like to commit their lives to. So appreciate all the hard work that you do, Donna. Next, we have the Youth Sports Mastery Show with our host, Aaron Locks. He's the founder of the National Academy of Athletics. He runs a great company. He also puts on a great show. He has some of the best coaches across America coming to speak on his show. That's every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, starting here in about a half hour. So please stay tuned in for that. If you're a regular listener, please reach out to us, sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is really coming together nicely. With this coming Sunday, we have our first 2 articles from the industry that will be in the newsletter. I think it goes out at 5 a.m. every Sunday. And so we'll send you a link, you sign yourself up, and then you're kind of off to the races, highlighting all the stuff that we cover in Parks and Recreation on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, but also now articles written by the industry that I think are going to be really valuable for y'all. And so let's see what else we have. I'm going to play a quick promo thanking our facilities maintenance crews out there, and then we'll close the show out with our regular DPRS commercial, helping people understand kind of what we're trying to do over here. So let's play this, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. I'll see y'all here, or actually Aaron will see y'all here in a few minutes. So stay tuned, grab a cup of coffee, use the restroom, and we'll be right back with the Youth Sports Mastery Show. Again, this is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show, the doorman. Love you guys. Thank you for all the work y'all are doing. Take care.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field, there's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of Parks and Recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job. It's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. Facility Maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy.